In this tutorial, I'm going to go through shapes. Now, not everything is going to be covered because the topic is enormous. The shapes can be used in every kind of way in Photoshop. But where's the shapes? And I'm just going to use a rectangle for an example, but you've got custom shapes, you've got line tools, polygon tools, etc. The custom shape tool gives access to millions of different designs, but rectangle is the basic, simplest one to go through. So with the rectangle tool selected, go up here. Top left, you've got all the control options. You've got shape, which is a vector design, it can be any size. Path is a shape that's got no fill and also no stroke. It's just a construct that you can use in multiple tools. And pixels. So pixels, just apply it. And you can apply it in any way. It's a rectangle. You can also use it to create squares as well. So here's a rectangle and it's applied using the current colour. You can set the colour, just go down here, click here, and you might want it to be orange. So apply, and you've got that orange, and it was applied over whatever's currently on the image. Now this is applied to a layer that you can actually access. Now you will find that sometimes if you've got a shape or something, another different design, you might not be able to apply it. But let's start right from the basics. Layer, and you flattened it. It's all one single layer. You can apply this shape. So with the shape now applied, I can undo. Any point you can always remove it. So undo, and you've got here redo rectangle tool. So if I go there, it's put it back again. Undo rectangle tool. Once you've done that, you can now modify other settings. You've got blending modes. So blending modes, you can turn around and say, well, instead of normal, and that's just a solid, standard, normal shape. So go to multiply. So multiply, and you can see when you do that, it's applied in a slightly different way. Just changes how it's applied to an image. Really good example, maybe go with difference. So apply it with difference, and you can see it's applied. It negates all the colours. So if you apply it again, and you can apply it multiple times. Don't have to apply it just once. Apply it 2, 3, 4 times, and you can see as you apply it, creates all kinds of unusual colour effects just by using the shape again and again. And you don't have to apply it exactly the same. You can go for thin, or you can go that way as well. Whole range of different designs. Let's just put that back and put it back to normal. And you've also got opacity. So opacity, you can reduce down. So you might not want it to be 100%. So if you apply it now, it covers it completely. Any image below, totally covered, 100%. If you go for opacity at 50%, let's just put it 50, and you can just about look through it. You've got 50-50. You can also reduce it down, say to 1 or 2 or 8, and you can see it's very, very faint. So it's great way of creating just a subtle sort of design, just a subtle layer image like that. Undo. But I'm just going to keep it 100% there. So 100%. And with that, you've got other options as well. Now, some of these are more important if you're using the shape, the vector one. But this is really useful. You've got here, click there, and you've got various options. Now, even though it says path options there, doesn't matter. You can use this with all of the options. All these options here, they can be used here. So just go here, not this bit, this is for the path itself. So you can go for square. So you want a square, just... Now, all the other shapes have also got this sort of feature. So you've got circles, you've got various things, you can make it proportional, etc. Now, not all these features obviously are in every tool, but you've got a square and you can apply it. And you can see, as you do it, it's just a standard square. So as you drag out, now it does mean that the cursor is slightly away from that. But you can see, just release, and then you've got your square. And of course it uses, again, exactly the same as before, the current foreground colour, which you can change. You can always change it to maybe green and apply it again. And you can see now you've got that. But also what you can do, click here, you've got fixed size. So you can turn around and say, well, I want it to be 2 inches or whatever you've got the measurements, 2 pixels. Maybe that's a bit too small, but you might want it 200 pixels. by 200 pixels, and it will always produce it at that size. So you can just then drag it around and release. Click, drag, release. Click, drag and release. And you can fill the image with exactly the same size squares all the time, or whatever you set it to be, obviously. Those settings, they don't need to be a square. You can also go proportional. You can go like 4:1. So if you apply it and then click and drag and release, that is 4:1. So you've got that is the 1, that's the 4. And you can set it obviously to 10 to 1 or 5:1 and so on, or the other way around. And you can apply it multiple times that way. By default, unconstrained at the top, so you can just apply it any way you want. But there's also this option as well, from center. So from center, you can see it applies. When you create your design, it's just done from the center. So it's slightly odd the way it's applied. Personally, I always prefer it to do it not with that on. So just apply it from the top left and drag and then down to bottom right and release. Just find it a bit easier to use than the other way. You've also got this as well, so you can turn around and say, oh, you know what? I want it to be rounded. So let's just go rounded. Maybe set it to 32. Then when you apply it, you can see now it's applied like that. Got a nice round effect at 32. And each time you apply it, it'll be 32. So 32, 32, and so on. Again, with the same colour. The shape tool also has some additional features. Just go here with the shape tool. Again, I'm using rectangle. You could use any of the others. And you can go top left and you can select path. Now path is useful for selections as well as using it with effects. It's got no fill, it's got no stroke. So just apply and you can see there you've got your path. You can add to it, you can subtract from it and much, much more. I'm not going to go through that in this tutorial, but you can at any point just convert it all to a selection. Just click there and that will be turned into a selection. Also, let's just undo those. When you've got layers, you can see you've got a layer here. This is the background layer. You can go up here and you can create a shape. So shape, select that. And now, exactly the same as before with the path, you've got a vector design, but this time it's got a fill and it's got a stroke. So you can see the fill there, got a gradient. You can set it to a color. You can also set it to a pattern and you can also set it obviously to a gradient. Just click here. Just next here, you've got the fill. Click there and you can see you've got those gradients there. You've got the whole range of different gradients that you've got in Photoshop. And you can select any of them. So I'm just going to select that one. You can see straight away it's filled with that gradient. Go here and you can set the patterns and you can select a pattern. Anything that's currently in your panel, you will be able to select here. So you can select any of these designs. You can also go here for solid colors. Click there. You can also set to absolutely nothing if you want it to be empty. So I'm just going to have a solid colour there, so go with pink, but you can also set a stroke, so you can go up here and you can set it to any colour, exactly the same as the fill. You can set it to gradient, patterns, but you've also got an option here, just change the size there, so you can, and you can see here I've got dashes as well. You've got options here for a solid stroke around the edge, you can see that stroke around there, or you can set it to say like dots or something, and you can do that from here. You can do exactly the same things here as the rounding. You can change these. However, notice this does not actively change the one you've just created, only when you create a new one. So undo that and you can set it back to 0. If you want to round an existing shape, the key panel here is properties. Just go to the properties. So in properties, you've got all the options. So again, you can change the size, there are the stroke, change the fill, change the gradient. Just go through them. Maybe select that one, and also you can go here to the rounding, so you can also move them independently as well. So you don't want them linked, you can click there and set that, just that one. So just change that and that will round. So you can create a variety of different shapes just using this. And finally, one of the most useful features, and perhaps not used probably as much as it could be, and that's tool presets. So you've got this shape here. Again, I'm going to use rectangle, exactly the same for all the others. Go there, top left, you've got this. You've got a drop down here, and you can see I've got one couple already, just created some. So 4:1 brown, so I just click there, and you see what happens straight away. I'm using the current tool, it says current tool only. That's of course the rectangle tool. and you can see the colour change. So click there, obviously the colour's there, black and white. You can click these, maybe go for square, and then just apply. Straight away, you've got this preset. So you don't have to think, oh, I go through the settings, I have to set the colour. Say you always want to create orange squares on a regular basis. So all you need to do is click on here, change it to orange, just set it to orange, go with pixels. So set that. I want blending mode of normal, 100%, no rounding, and I always want it to be squares. Well, there's the square. What you can do, go over here, click there, and you can click this plus. You can also click here and you've got options to show the tools, reset the tools, etc. But all I want to do is add a new tool preset. So this plus here, just click that, and then you can set orange square, and I would suggest put pixels so you know that it's a pixel option. So click OK. Now go back to this one, apply that. Then you got here, click there, and you can go down it, orange square pixel, click there, and you can apply it. It stores away all the settings along here. So everything's stored. So you can go here, maybe go for shape, and then go click there, and let's just go for a gradient. So this type of gradient, maybe set stroke, maybe set the colours, all those sort of things, maybe go for dashes or dots, and you can apply it. And I'm just going to go with proportion, and I'm going to go for 1 to 7. 1 to 7. And I can apply it, and you can see the design there. So that is your design you want to create each and every time. And you come back to this at a later time. You don't want to have to recreate it each and every time. So you can just go up here, gain to tool presets, click there, again, click plus, and then of course go for dots, shape, gradient, and 7.1, and so on. You could just put some, obviously maybe something more expressive than that, but I'm just going to go with click OK. It stores away the colour. You can turn that off so you don't have to always use the same colour each time. So then if you go select another one, let's just go and create that. You've got that design. Again, go to the presets. You can go down and select your dot shape, gradient, 7.1 there, and you can apply it very quickly and very rapidly using that approach. Of course, there's a vast amount of other things I could add into this tutorial about shapes. So if you're interested, please let me know in the comments below. Always great to know. Go through a load of different things like converting them to smart objects, using them with filters, all those sorts of things as well. Also, using them to create guides. There's lots of uses for shapes. Also, a like or dislike, always appreciated. Also, please subscribe, always adding new tutorials about Photoshop, Affinity Photo, and many other applications. Bye.